Tragic animal attacks that changed zoo safety forever. Maddox Durkosh. On November 4, 2012, 2-year-old Maddox Durkosh visited the Pittsburgh Zoo with his mother. They stood on a viewing deck overlooking the African painted dog exhibit, a platform designed with railings and multiple warning signs telling visitors not to lift children above the barrier. But wanting her little boy to get a better look at the animals, Maddox's mother lifted him up over the railing. In a split second, tragedy struck. Maddox slipped from her arms, falling 14 feet below. A safety net was installed under the deck, but it wasn't strong enough to catch a child. Only small dropped items like hats or phones. Maddox hit the net, bounced off, and fell straight into the enclosure. Within moments, the pack of 11 African painted dogs rushed toward him. Witnesses recalled the horrifying scene. The mother screaming, trying to jump in after her son, but held back by other visitors. The attack unfolded right in front of shocked onlookers. The dogs bit and tore at Maddox while he was still conscious, causing catastrophic injuries, over 40 wounds to his head and neck, and severe damage to his internal organs. Zoo staff and police officers rushed to help, but by the time they reached him, it was too late. Maddox bled to death before anyone could rescue him. A police officer fired his gun, killing one dog in a desperate attempt to stop the attack, but the rest of the pack did not retreat. The aftermath sparked public outrage. The zoo claimed the mother ignored posted warnings and behaved recklessly. The family, in turn, blamed the zoo, arguing that the platform's design was unsafe and that stronger barriers should have been in place. Both sides filed lawsuits, but no criminal charges were brought against the mother. Eventually, a private settlement was reached, and the viewing deck was permanently removed. The surviving painted dogs were relocated to other zoos, and the exhibit was closed for good. The space was later transformed into a cheetah enclosure, a silent reminder of a day that changed zoo safety forever. Brancheau. Brancheau was one of SeaWorld Orlando's most experienced trainers, with 15 years of expertise and a deep bond with orcas. Her closest connection was with Tilikum, a massive male weighing over 12,000 pounds. On that fateful day in February 2010, during the Dine with Shamu show, guests sat by the pool, eating lunch while watching trainers perform with the whales. The show ended with a gentle routine. Don lay beside Tilikum on a shallow ledge, rubbing his head affectionately. Then, in an instant, everything changed. The whale suddenly grabbed her, pulling her into the water with unbelievable strength. Horrified guests watched as Tilikum dragged her underwater, thrashing violently. Trainers threw nets and food into the water to distract the whale, trying to separate him through different gates into smaller pools. But for 45 agonizing minutes, Tilikum refused to release her. When they finally managed to contain him, Don's lifeless body was recovered. The autopsy revealed the brutality of the attack. She had drowned, but her injuries were beyond imagination: a severed spinal cord, multiple broken bones, and torn limbs. Her scalp had been ripped off, and her arm was missing. The immense force of Tilikum's movements had inflicted catastrophic trauma. Her death changed SeaWorld forever. Trainers were permanently banned from entering the water during performances, and the incident reignited the global debate over keeping orcas in captivity. Patricia Wyman. In April 1996, 24-year-old Patricia Wyman had just started what she believed was her dream career, working with wolves at the Halliburton Forest and Wildlife Reserve in Ontario, Canada. The facility was famous for keeping its wolves as close to their wild instincts as possible. Visitors could only see the animals from behind one-way glass, and staff were strictly warned never to enter the enclosure without proper procedure. But only 4 days into her new job, Patricia made a tragic mistake. For reasons that remain unclear, she entered the wolves' 15-acre enclosure alone. Normally, the wolves avoided human contact, shy, cautious, and distant. But that day, something shifted. As Patricia stepped inside, the wolves rose and began to circle her. Realizing the danger, she tried to back away but tripped over a fallen log. That single misstep sealed her fate. The alpha male lunged first, knocking her to the ground, and the rest of the pack followed. They bit and tore at her arms and legs, pulling her in different directions. Each wolf weighed close to 170 pounds, powerful and coordinated. Patricia fought back, trying to shield her head and neck, but the pack overwhelmed her. Within minutes, She lost too much blood and died inside the enclosure. When police arrived, the wolves were still guarding her body. They hadn't eaten her, but growled protectively, forcing officers to fire warning shots to drive them away. Experts later said the attack might have been triggered by a sudden dominance shift within the pack, particularly from the alpha male. No one ever discovered why Patricia entered the enclosure that day. It wasn't feeding time, and no emergency had been reported. Her death remains one of the most haunting tragedies in wildlife care history. Rosa King. At Hamilton Zoo Park in England, 33-year-old Rosa King was known for her passion and dedication to the animals she cared for. On an ordinary morning, she entered the tiger enclosure to clean the glass panels before visitors arrived. Inside was Sissop, a full-grown male Malayan tiger, majestic but deadly. Safety rules required that all barriers and gates be securely locked before anyone entered. But that morning, all 3 safety barriers, including a heavy steel slide door, had been left open. Unaware of the danger, Rosa stepped inside. Within seconds, Sissop lunged at her. The powerful tiger clamped its jaws around her neck with a force strong enough to crush bone. Her spinal cord was severed instantly, leaving her paralyzed. The animal continued mauling her. Deep bites to her arms and legs, claw marks across her body. Within moments, she had lost massive amounts of blood. A visitor looking through the glass saw her body motionless on the ground and raised the alarm. When investigators later examined the scene, they found no mechanical failure, meaning Rosa had unknowingly walked in while all safety doors were open. The zoo's system depended entirely on human vigilance, and one moment of error cost her life. Alexis Martinez. On December 24, 2009, just one day before Christmas, trainer Alexis Martinez was performing a training session with Quito, a massive orca weighing over 6,600 pounds at Loro Parque in Tenerife, Spain. Everything seemed normal at first, though witnesses later noted that Quito had been acting unusually unresponsive. As Alexis swam toward the shallow platform, Quito suddenly turned aggressive, ramming him hard in the chest and forcing him underwater. Trainers on the side tried frantically to intervene, slapping the water and shouting commands, but Quito ignored them. He surfaced briefly, then attacked again, lifting Alexis out of the water and holding him down. When Quito finally released him, Alexis's body floated motionless. Rescuers couldn't reach him until the whale was moved to another pool. The autopsy revealed devastating injuries, massive internal bleeding, broken ribs, crushed lungs, and ruptured organs. His death came just 2 months before Don Brancheau's, raising serious questions about the risks of keeping orcas in captivity and the unpredictable nature of these intelligent but powerful creatures.